Thursday, the
9th.
9th? Thursday, the 9th of February. This is the City of Syracuse Board of Assessment Review. Can we have a roll call?
Michael Vavanese.
Carl Masterpole.
Joe Saya.
Sue Straub.
Okay. We're all set to go. It's about 9:05 a.m. And if you want to come up, whoever, there's two properties here?
Danielle. Yep.
Okay.
Danielle. Well, they're not both hers. Just the first one is
Oh,
101 Windsor Place.
I got you.
Yes.
Okay. If you want to have a seat, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's the address?
I'm 101 Windsor.
Gotcha. All right. So what I'm going to do is swear you in, read a few things into the record, then I'll turn it over to you, then we'll go to the city assessor. And very informal, nothing to be concerned about. So if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Danielle Smith.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. So let me read it in 101 Windsor Place. I've got the application in here. Let's see if we can match up some numbers. This is a two-story, one family?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
We've got a current, where are we here? 101. We've got a current tentative assessment. Now, is it 180?
180, yes.
Okay. On the petition, it says 144, so it's 180. With a land value of 31,600.
That I do not have, but I can verify that, but,
Okay. Yeah, if you could verify,
Yep.
only because the other one was off.
okay.
So 180,000, that would bring a fair market value of 279,070. And then the petitioner believes that the fair market value is 232,000, which would be a equatable assessed value of 149,640. Okay. And the last thing I want to do is just check, see if we have a, yeah, so on April 21st of 2020, this property was purchased for $270,000. Okay, and
When was that?
yeah, that was April 21st of 2020. So I guess the first question is, we paid $270 for it. Now we're thinking a couple years later, it's worth $232. I'm thinking, why don't you start off with that?
Okay, so just to be respectful to, I refer to you as your honors? Or
No, just we're the board. First names is fine.
Okay, so I can share that the land assessment is, you're correct,
31,600.
31,600.
Yeah, let's take a peek. Yeah, 31,600, right.
So,
And that's a point of information. It's not,
just so you don't have to research,
sure, thank you.
or to respond to your question, the sale price is not the actual value of the property. I live across from 100, for example, I live across from 100 Windsor Place, which recently sold for over $700,000, but you can see from the assessment that it's currently assessed at $380,000. So in my notes, I have that my property, which is the smallest on the street, is assessed at a higher percentage rate than 100 Windsor Place, which is a mansion and sold for over 700,000. So I think a more accurate assessment may be what I'm proposing, so that the percentages are more aligned.
All right, so a couple things there. What you want to do is compare like properties. So you started off with on your street, and I get that, and that's fine. However, it sounds like 100 is different than yours. I think you said yours is the smallest house on the street? Yeah, okay. Do we have any comparables closer to your house?
We do, and I can provide you with
Yes, that would be helpful.
more comfortable. You can.
Okay. Is this for us to keep?
I have made a copy that you can keep, but it may be.
Okay. All right, so we can switch it. All right.
So, yeah, if you look at 103 Windsor, which is right next door, it's closer in size, it's more comfortable, but
Okay.
I am still taxed at a higher rate than comparable houses on the street.
Okay, well, let's go back to your purchase price again, because you started to say something to the effect that the purchase price wasn't necessarily an indication of value. Did you say? And how did you arrive at that purchase price? Was this house on the open market? Was it MLS listed?
Yes. it
Okay.
was.
Do you remember what they were asking?
I think I paid what they were asking for the house.
Okay.
But I guess I'm saying that in a market where housing prices are overpriced for whatever real estate reasons, that isn't necessarily indicative of the value of the house, because people are paying like 30%.
Sometimes. Was this a bidding war type thing?
It was not, because I really wanted the house, and
But were there other people bidding on the house, or was it just yourself?
I think there was another offer. I don't know what.
So that compelled you to offer the full price?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, right, yeah. So, as I said, my house is assessed at 40% higher than what is average for the neighborhood. And although I'm assessed higher, as I said, the assessed building value is lower than comparable properties.
Okay. And you did an analysis of just the properties on Windsor Place?
Correct.
Okay, okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the inside of your house?
It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Upstairs and downstairs is a standard. I don't know what besides that.
How about cosmetics? Age of roof, furnace?
Well, everything, I haven't had to replace the furnace.
So everything's in good shape, I would think, based on the fact that, 270,000. Okay, so basically your argument is unequal assessment type thing with respect to the other houses on the street.
Correct.
Okay, let me just turn it over to the assessor, and then we'll come back to you for, any other thoughts based on what
2-minute
Ann has
warning.
to say.
Well, again, as far as the city's concerned, the market value is the sale price. Also, the listing, I have a copy of the MLS, says 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, which is what we have on our inventory. So I'm not sure where 4 bedrooms and 2 baths, because I have the MLS listing where it says 3 and 5.
Okay.
So, a lot of these realtors, which this makes me laugh, says There's a brand-new carpet in the walkout basement, which is 1,000 square feet, not included in the tax records. That kind of just, and I'm going to give you some sales of properties up. I mean,
I think what they, I don't, wow, that's.
well, it might be below grade or
Right,
something
so
that we
square
didn't.
footage maybe,
Right.
but not tax records.
Right, well, that's, I mean, it's right there in the listing.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it is the smaller house, but again, that's not including that, because it's kind of on a hill, which you can see in the, it's just, so it's kind of bi-level, so there's probably some walkout basement that we did not include in the, maybe a finished basement, but not in the square living.
Okay, okay.
There's a copy of.
Let's go back to the 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, is that,
So let me respond to the basement.
Okay.
The basement and the parquet, all of that had to be ripped out. The basement, I am spending like a lot to have fixed up, so I don't consider that to be livable space. We do not live and occupy the basement, we're upstairs.
is that right now? Are you going to refinish the basement, or you're just,
I'm considering, my options, it does take quite a lot of money to get the basement to be where it will be considered.
but it's not that way now?
Right, I don't live in the basement, I'm upstairs.
Okay.
We are at time, just so you know.
Okay, and then just, can you address the bedrooms and baths? Is that in
There are
fact the
4
setup?
bedrooms, yes, on the second floor, and there are 2 bathrooms on the second floor.
And then what's on the first floor or the attic?
The attic is a storage space. There is a bathroom in the basement, but as I said, that it's not.
Is there a bathroom in the basement?
There is a bathroom in the basement. There's a room that I guess is counted as a bedroom, but I don't use
Okay.
that space. It's not
Okay,
where I would live.
okay. Okay, would you like to address anything else?
So I just want to state again that the market value, you say that, and the average for the neighborhood, if you compare my property taxes, I'm 20% higher than properties in the neighborhood. And again, for comparable
What's the
houses,
address?
not comparing to the mansion that's across the street, but just more comparable houses, I'm still the smallest. I have the fewest bathrooms,
If you
and
want to just
my
print your
taxes are
name right here
20%
at the
higher.
920
So
slot.
I'm requesting a 20% reduction to be comparable to other homes on the street.
She's finishing off.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna do this lady. and
All right,
then
fair
we'll be
enough.
with you.
We've
Okay.
got, okay, so you wanna switch that out, yeah, that's fine. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And the city is, so you submitted your information, the city has submitted theirs. We will take both into consideration and discussion, and then we'll make a decision, and then the city will send you a notice first week of April.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in, appreciate it.
Carla. So this is 123 Windsor Place. Yes, correct.
Okay, yep.
Good morning.
Good morning, have a seat. How are you? Good. Okay,
So my case is very similar to your actually neighbors.
let me just, I'll swear you in, and then we can, I'll read a few things in, and then I'll turn it over to you, if that's okay. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, so this is 123 Windsor Place. All right. Okay, let me just read a couple things in. We've got the petition in here. It looks like we've got some talking points. Okay. All right. So, single family again, current tentative assessment of $240,000, which would make a market value of $372,093. Okay. And the petitioner believes the fair market value is $215,000, which would bring it an assessed value to $138,675. Assessed value. Okay, and if I could just glance over this real quick. Let's see here. When did you purchase the property?
We purchased a house in 2006,
2006? Okay,
but before the crash in 2008.
2008, right. Okay, so go ahead and I might jump in and ask you a question here on that.
So so we had a corner house, and we noticed that the 100 Windsor, which is also a corner house, is their per square footage tax is valued at $299, and ours is valued at $214, and which, and I was just wondering if we could lower ours because it's just not fair.
Well, this 100 Windsor keeps on coming up, and I think that they're going to get a letter pretty soon. In that they're assessed for 3 and
Right,
change.
but you also have to take into consideration the economies of scale. The bigger the property, the smaller the amount is per square foot. That's just how it is. So you can't really compare a 2,800 square foot house to a 5,500 square house just by doing the math.
Right.
So yes, could they be underassessed? Absolutely. But
Yeah,
you know.
and so what I had said to Danielle, leaving that property alone, you know, from a comparison standpoint, do you have other comps? It sounds like maybe that's the same type of scenario, but let's focus in on some other properties that are more like yours.
So, okay, so there's, if we looked, some other neighbors that have similar size homes, they are
Right,
also,
exactly.
the per square footage tax is less than ours.
Okay,
We are being being taxed about 37% more than my neighbors on Windsor Place.
were these
No,
two
no.
properties increased? No, this is just.
And again, it's against the law to reassess on sale. So either you look at the neighborhood, if all the values are going up, I can't just reassess that one house because it's sold. That's against the law.
Right.
So I'd have to do, this particular assessment hasn't been changed since 2010. So their assessment has been the same since 2010. Is it time to do the neighborhood? Probably,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I mean,
this wasn't where the no increased assessment, nor on Danielle's either. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So what about if a house has, I mean, I don't mean to be bringing up 100, but this is a house that has a swimming pool, and so why this is by square footage that
Generally-
house?
Generally speaking, square footage is taken into consideration above, you know, bedrooms and baths type thing. A pool may or may not add value. It depends on the person that's, you know, purchasing it, right? From an upkeep standpoint and all that good stuff. So it sounds like this 100 is a very nice and big piece of property.
Yes.
As far as the assessments are concerned, not a perfect science. There's some things that will slip through the cracks, and then they'll get caught up with a year or two later, what have you. Generally, they're trying to do the best they can to be as fair as possible across the board. And I understand what you're saying, and, no decisions have been made, of course. But pretty much the same argument that you feel that you're not as correctly assessed or over-assessed with respect to the other properties on the street.
It's just, it's not that we're being taxed at 10% more or 15%, it's just like we're being taxed at almost 40% more. And that's just not fair, because these are, we all take, Windsor, we all take very good pride in our homes, and so we all do keep a good maintenance on the outside.
Yep,
Because it's also a historic district area, I mean,
yes.
The university area, is that the university area?
yes, it is, yeah. So it's just, I like to play fair, and I'm also happy to pay my fair share of tax, but I just don't want to be taken advantage,
Sure.
and that's why I'm here.
Okay, no, that's fine. Anything you want to add, Ann?
Well, I will say, well, I'm not sure where the 37% comes in. You don't assess, if I'm gonna come up and buy your house, I don't look at it as a square foot basis, on a square foot basis per square foot.
No, you-
If you say you're gonna sell your house, if you think
What's
it's
the
worth
address?
132,000, I mean, there's probably people that would write you a check immediately. It's, your assessment represents what the
I
fair
will
market
have
value
you
is.
Just print your name. right
Again,
here
I don't
next to
know, I
the
can't address the
940.
37%. What I can address is properties up there are, I have comparable sales. And
Did you
should
let
this
the guard downstairs know?
neighborhood be reassessed? Perhaps,
Okay.
once,
When
again,
you're
I
leaving,
can't
just let
reassess
them
your
know.
one neighbor because it's sold.
It's not just it's supposed to be that, I can
But what are they, what are the sale prices up there? You can't do it on a per square foot.
All right.
It's what the market is going to, I mean, you said the
Just have
market
a seat
value,
and we will call
you
you
think
as
it's
soon as you're
worth
ready.
whatever, 100 and something.
215.
So
Nice to meet you.
I could sit here without even seeing the house saying it's probably, worth well over 300,000 for sure. If you put your property on the
2-minute warning.
market. So I guess I'm going to address that. Again, it hasn't been changed in 13 years, this assessment. Has the equalization changed? Yes, the rate has changed, but I will, I'll give you guys comparable sales up there. Right around the corner on Berkeley, literally sold a month and a half ago for $430.
Right.
So that
Yeah,
was.
no, I didn't.
you
And
know,
so
I mean-
so I'm assuming you think your house is worth $215,000.
No, my house, if I was if like they said, like if I was to sell, it would be, I would not be able to, I mean, I could sell for 215 like in a heartbeat. If I was to sell,
Well, it
it would
says
be
here
over
that
300.
the property owner's estimate of market value
Well, that
is,
is by comparing with what my neighbors are paying for the tax.
Yeah, but are you comparing assessments or their taxes?
I'm comparing the tax assessment, but not what tax, what my neighbors are paying for tax compared with not
Okay.
what the value of the houses.
yeah, no, the only thing I was zeroing in on is, the question asked, what do you think the property's worth? And-
I did not know what to add a number, and the lady downstairs just said you just have to add something, and you don't add more to what I'm arguing.
Okay.
And so
All right.
this number, not realizing my value.
Okay, that's fair enough. Do you want to leave that with us?
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
okay. All right, so we'll take that. The city supplied some comps, and I think we've got enough information on both of them, of course. I think we'll, discuss them together separately, but a lot of the same argument, as you said. And then the city will send a notice first week of April with our decision. All right, thank you very much for coming in. Yes. Okay.
872 to 74, Sumner.
Thank you very much.
Wasn't that 123?
How are you?
Good morning, how are you? Thanks for seeing me, I appreciate it.
Yes, no problem at all. This is the one we just talked about?
Yep, sorry about that, yeah.
Yep. All right, give me 1 second, just
Sure.
here. You're here for 872-74 Sumner Ave.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
James Derwin?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right. Let me just read some information in, and then we'll take it from there. And do you have a land value on this?
15,000.
15,000.
Land is different than the legal house, so that's just for now.
Yeah, it's just, and again, it's just, I
Okay,
try to fill in the blanks is all.
sure. There is a mistake on the, I don't know if it's a mistake, but the application I sent in.
Okay.
Got the assessment late in the mail, I know there was a deadline, so I quickly hurried through that. But I've since done my research, so the assessment I suggested on there is a little lower than what I'm suggesting in the letter I'm delivering to you today.
Okay, let me read it in, we'll correct it, and that'll be that. So we have a, again, this is 872-74 Sumner Ave and Stratford Street.
Yes.
All right, and we have a current tentative assessment of 225,000, which would be a market value of 348,837. 837. And then you are saying your estimate of fair market value has changed from the 175?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
200,000.
200,000. Can I get a pen there? Thank you, sir. I'm just gonna have you initial that change
Oh, sure.
there.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Like I said, I was under a deadline, so I wanted to get that in right away.
No, that's quite all right.
So I have some copies of this letter, but I don't know if I have enough for you all. And on the document you sent me, are you land developer?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think you'll need that. I
Okay.
thought I was just meeting with you. I didn't realize.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how crucial it is that all of you have one of these. And I don't want to take a lot of your time because I think a lot of this is almost theoretical debate.
Let me just
What's the new?
Yeah, so we've got 200,000 is the estimate of fair market value. What's the equatable assessed value on that, anybody?
I can get it for you.
129.
129? 129,000 is the equatable assessed value.
What does that figure mean?
Well, it just means that you believe that you're, well, the city, there's a multiplier. So the city has a tentative assessment of 225,000. So that is 64.5% of market value. So when we calculate out, the city believes your property's worth in the ballpark of 350,000. You, on the other hand, believe your property's worth 200,000, which would equate down to an assessed value of 129,000.
Oh.
So assessment is for tax purposes, and we try to get set up with the same numbers type thing. But, so it doesn't, you can continue to say, do your analysis on what the property, you believe the property's worth, which is 200,000.
Okay, so you understand what I'm getting at.
I understand
I
exactly.
understand it's worth more than 129,000.
Right,
I do that. Yeah.
right. So we'll work off of the 200.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And, like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time, so
Go ahead.
when you want me to share, I will.
Okay, well, I'd like you to tell us how you're arriving at the 200,000.
Okay, so if you look at the letter I've written to you in front of you, just a few things, very briefly. The Zillow assessment in 2014 was 165. In 2020, no, I'm sorry, in 2014 it was 155, and then went to 165 in 2020. And I feel like in the last 3 years during COVID, some strange things have happened, some artificial inflation with home prices. And I state that in the second point, that, and if you look at a very quick Google search at credible sources, you see that Syracuse home prices and Onondaga County home prices are declining. The three that I used, and you may be critical because they're a little while ago, but it's for the reason I say above, that I don't think the market has been a true market in the last 3 years. The home sales were on Ackerman, and My Street, Sumner. And Ackerman, if you know the neighborhood, the University neighborhood, that's just one block over. Those were sold in late 20 and early 21. 125,000, 143,000, 205,000, which makes an average of 157. And again, I understand that the prices have gone up, and you can show me comparables in 2021 and 2022 where people were getting for a two-family house in a university neighborhood 275,000, 250,000, and I understand all that. However,
let me just ask you a couple questions in between here.
Yeah.
Do you live in this property?
no, I don't currently.
Okay. And so, are you renting to students, or just tell us a little bit about that?
There's students downstairs, and my son was a tenant there for a long time, and my daughter's about to be an SU student, and she's going to live there.
Oh, good.
I don't own multiple properties. This is the only property I own. I moved in there with a young family. I had a lot of non-traditional students, types that were there for a long time.
What's the current situation? I know you're renting downstairs to students. What are you getting for rents?
So it's $500 a bedroom, which makes it $1,500 for flat.
For downstairs?
Yeah.
And then what's gonna happen with your daughter?
Well, when my son has been there, I obviously didn't charge him anything. I charged his two roommates a nominal fee of $400 each. So the apartments are renting in that neighborhood. You can check Orange Housing, I mentioned this here, for about $500 a bedroom. Some are at $450, some are at $550. That's been very stagnant since 2016. I think the notion that University neighborhood is kind of a Gold Coast is not so true anymore. So much housing has been built in and around Genesee Street and the north side of campus that the older homes like mine, they're not demanding those rents anymore. I'm now competing with places that have gyms in them. I'm competing with places that have cafes in them. I'm competing with places that have rec rooms. And granted, those rents are much higher there. But what I'm finding is when I maybe used to see, without exaggerating, 20 potential tenants, now I see 2, I see 3, and they're renting later and later than they used to be. So, yeah, I think the university neighborhood doesn't have the values that you're suggesting.
2-minute warning.
Okay. Can I throw it out there? So, and then the last thing I wrote in here, I did find one comparable to suggest that the housing market is going down in that neighborhood. Just in December, 704 Allen Street was sold for $210,000. And again, that was about a month ago. And I think those are my talking points. Again, I don't want to take too much of your time. I just saw this, and we would all open this letter and go, oh man, a 33% increase. Figured it was worth coming down to talk to you a little bit about it, to hopefully lessen that. In terms of the university neighborhood, I think it's easy to say those are worth a lot, and I've been penalized in other ways living in that neighborhood. When the sidewalk restoration happened, I lived on a corner. I ended up getting a new sidewalk in the front and along the side to the tune of $20,000 because I couldn't afford to do it, so it was added to my taxes for 10 years. That sort of thing is burdensome, and I don't think the folks that were driving around looking at sidewalks were doing it in every neighborhood. I think it's easy to find neighborhoods that where they know people can be accountable and pay.
All right.
That's my last
When
point.
you purchased the property?
When did I purchase it? I think it was either December 1996 or January 97.
January 97, I'm
January
sorry
97.
for, not putting that down, for $112,000. Let me go to Ann, and Ann, if I could ask, Mr. Durin's argument is one that we've heard over the last few years as far as the university neighborhood is concerned with respect to rental. What, with all of the new housing and what have you, so can you give us a little commentary on what you think?
Honestly, the sales that I see listed here, we don't have 814 even selling. If I had to guess, some of these are, if we don't have them as market, because I don't think anything up there has gone for under 200 in 5 years. As far as the market and all the competition, I still know a bunch of kids that want to live on Ackerman and Livingston and Sumner. 500 a bedroom is not a bad number. Because that other unit is rented to family or will be rented to family, market's gonna say otherwise. Allen Street is on the east side of Westcott, so Allen's kind of way over here and Sumner and all Livingston, they're all on the west side of. That's gonna have some kind of value just in itself as far as location. Do I think every house up there is there? Yeah, maybe Norm Ross coming in. He's Mr. Roth, everybody does. So his argument is he owns about 100 properties up there. So his argument was that, but now it's changing a little bit. I'm just going to give you some I'll recommend taking it down, the assessment down to 200. As far as that's concerned, I believe it's worth, I've got, like, Mr. Durin says, I've got sales over 300 all day.
Okay.
So,
And I know that I've seen those, and a lot of them are completely refurbished.
yeah, well, and that's why I'm thinking the one, those might be Michael Seaman properties that sold for one. Again, we don't even have that one on 814 Ackerman selling. The 143, that might, I know they sold a bunch of properties up there that were in really, really bad shape. I don't believe they were listed because they went to other, there's a handful of SU landlords that scoop stuff up that, Oustachowski and Joe Tupper, and yeah, so, I make a recommendation, and
All right.
there's some sales.
So the city's recommended 200,000, down from 225 tentative. So we will take that into consideration as well as everything that you've said,
Okay.
right? And then the city will send you a notice first week of April. So that was the motivation, this assessment was raised?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and that's good, you came down.
Okay, yeah, I
Absolutely.
figured it was worthwhile just to share, you're maybe a different homeowner out there.
Right.
'Cause I know there are
Yeah.
plenty that own multiple properties. I don't own properties anywhere else. Like I said, my wife and I were a young family, we moved up there, went to grad school, and kept it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Well, your Hail Mary pass
okay.
was, Doug Flutie to Gerard Phelan. How's that?
Perfect, yeah, good reference.
There's no better Hail Mary pass than that.
That's right. Thank you very
All
much.
right, have a good day.
Yes, you too, so long.
212 short.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
How are
Hello.
you?
Good morning, one and all.
Okay, how are
I'm
you?
Donna Casman.
Okay. Well, maybe by the end of this meeting, you will.
Appreciate you having this hearing.
Yes, no problem at all. Let me just swear you in, read a few things in, and then we'll take it from there. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Donna Casman.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Oh, I know.
Excellent, thank you.
Bill.
Thank you. So, this is a one-family house, 212 Schubert Ave. And let me just find it on here.
Townhouse.
It's a townhouse, okay. All right, so I'm,
So one family, yes.
yep, familiar with that. Current tentative assessment of $112,000. And do you have a land value by chance?
I do not.
Not critical, but,
No, yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, just a, point of information.
Nervous here.
No problem. Let me just read a few more numbers in. That $112,000 assessed value equates to $173,643.
Would you repeat that for me?
Sure. That figure, 173,643. So what that means is that based on an assessed value of 112,000, the city believes that your property would be in the ballpark of 175,000 from a market value standpoint. So just hold that thought for a moment. And then you believe your property is worth $104,000.
Well, when I talked to Tom in the assessment office, that was a ballpark. I really don't know.
That's okay.
And I have no home computer. I have no iPhone. And as far as figuring this all out on my own, I couldn't do it. I called a couple neighbors that are still there in that development.
That's fine. We can go off of the
Okay.
104.
Okay, thank you.
It's a starting point. But that would equate to a $67,080 assessed value. And those numbers are for our purposes. The city's in the ballpark of 175, you're in the ballpark of 100. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your property?
Like I said, I don't have a computer and I didn't get to the library. Family has come down with COVID, not me.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. I wish
So
someone
I've
could
been
recover it.
that, and so can I just go over what I've written
Please.
down because it's kind of. My boyfriend and I bought the house in March of 1990, and when I was 47,
What did you pay at that time, if I could?
I think it was 130.
130?
I believe so.
Okay. And that was, yeah, you have March of 1990.
It should have been 132. I've never been firm on figuring it out.
That's okay. Go ahead.
So in 1995, I married my boyfriend, and he had 2 forms of cancer and heart disease. And he passed. I was 47 when he passed.
Sorry to hear that.
Old news, but it makes me cry. He was 57. I never remarried. Church situation, whatever. I remortgaged my house because I couldn't afford the payments, monthly payments. I'm a parishioner at St. Vincent de Paul Church. I'm active there in Altar Rosary, Legion of Marian youth programs and everything else. I've been supportive of Mayor Matt Driscoll. He had put me on the Syracuse Commission for Women as a board member. I've been a Democratic committee person for 25 years plus. Co-president of NEDA, Northeast Valley Development Association on the north side. Founder and board member of Lincoln Hill Neighborhood Association, a not-for-profit. And through Syracuse Neighborhood Initiative money back then, building the board, we ended up with a lot of programs that helped to intervene in the decay of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Belong to TNT, Tomorrow's Neighborhoods Today on the north side, Neighborhood Watch in the city and the county on the north side, Franciscan Northside Ministry Advisory Board.
Let me just stop you there. That's excellent, and so we've got a good background of yourself, which is good. But let's move on to the property.
I'm a senior citizen at 76 years of age this year.
If you want to please sign it.
There's mixed rentals and owner-occupied in the neighborhood. 1 out of 5 properties are trashy. I call the city all the time through city line, DPW, mayor's office. I've worked with Parks and Recreation to improve the neighborhood. I think you'd like our neighborhood, but it has deteriorated. So we've had major problems in that neighborhood. Oh, I have no HOA either, so I have to pay for my plowing my yard because I've got a
Do you have a
disability.
preference on
No
which
big deal, I can do that.
property you speak
The
about
townhomes
first, 777 or
increased density
781?
created more taxes and consumer spending. The neighborhood is very diverse, which I love.
81, perfect. I'll give them that one on top.
New jobs are being created by Amazon. The housing taxes will reflect an increased revenue in the city and in the county. And that's already happening through other avenues too. The demand for business in the city. So there's been a steep rise in housing needs. My expenses are big time. Everybody's are. Everybody knows what they have to pay out of budget on a monthly basis. Like I say, I have no computer, no cell phone. I don't go on vacations anymore because things are tight. You can tell I color my hair myself. As far as the value of the property, it's a two-bedroom.
Okay, so 2-bedroom.
It does have a kitchen that's a galley kitchen, so I can go from the sink to the stove in one step. I have a table there with 2 chairs. There's a formal dining room that's the extent of the living room, dining room.
Does she have all the appropriate exemptions?
She has a veteran's exemption, a senior citizen, and an enhanced star.
Which I pay attention to on a yearly basis because that's what I need.
Absolutely. No, that's good.
When I became of age to do that, I took advantage of it.
For sure.
So I know that I keep all these articles on housing. And down the street, through my efforts and other people's efforts, because I founded Lincoln Hill Neighborhood Association, we ended up building 2 houses that were subsidized, home headquarters. Maybe any of you have gone to the ribbon cutting ceremony. They were priced at $155,000. That's what the new owners, the 2 new houses on Seward, that's what they paid for them. But during that time, it was COVID, and all the building prices went up. So they got a deal because the cost of building those properties was $280,000.
Right, and you said it was subsidized.
It was subsidized. So if that has any implication on raising my taxes 8%, I would hope that I'd be given some consideration. I've had a car bombing across the street from me. My house was broken into. There was a corner store, which is now
2-minute warning.
That had money laundering, gambling, illegal gambling, and prostitution. A store across the street. That when I worked on the police advisory board, Captain McCarr got in there with a sting to stop the selling of beer and cigarettes.
So you've
I
got,
did all
yes.
these things that I keep.
And that's good.
Proactive on.
And I know that the city
And
certainly appreciates
My
that.
family does not want me living in the city, but I feel adamant that I should.
Well, you should do what you're comfortable with.
I feel that I'm given the gift to be a watchdog for people, the disadvantaged and the people that need my help.
Let me turn it over.
That's reflective of, if I could get a break and not get the full extent of the rate and tax percentage. I know back in 1996, it was just months after my husband died. That's when the city reassessed properties. I went to that hearing also. I know it's been a time. I understand that.
Let me put you on hold just for a
Yes,
second.
please
Let
do.
me go over to
Say
Ann.
Jen, say it.
She is a relative, yes.
Oh, her dear friend Teresa Santillo just died, a dear friend of mine.
I saw that. I went to school with her daughter,
Which one, Connie or Ian?
Karen.
Oh, Karen, sure.
So Tom reviewed all those townhouses. This assessment was raised, I will start by saying $8,000. So with the exemptions that she currently has, it probably would raise, and this is just a point of information, maybe $150, maybe. Because a year. No, a year. So
Well,
$8,000 is 320 tax dollars, but because of the exemptions. So I'm just, there are some values of townhouses over there on Boyden, going for 160, 170. Over on James around the corner, 192.
That's Bishop's Estate.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Right. So, but 192, yeah, the one on
but again, the overall scheme of things, again, we want to put the correct value, but that's the hurt.
yeah, and it seems like
$150.
yours is a little bit bigger than the ones that have sold, so couple hundred square feet bigger, so.
I did not do that with my insurance company because the square footage is 2,000 something.
Right,
But
2070.
the one behind me is 195. Yeah, 1,000.
I'll take the extras.
So there's a discrepancy there.
Are is the one behind you the same size?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean,
We
I
are
can
at
look
time,
into
just
that
so you
again. We use the external, we don't do the inside, so.
Yeah, so no, that was good. I'm glad you came in. We'll take into consideration everything that you said, as well as the
So
city.
my taxes would only go up. I'd keep all my discounts.
Right, you keep your discounts, $8,000 in an assessment is about $320 in taxes, but because of your discounts, I'll estimate about maybe 150, maybe 160 something, depending, but
Over the year,
Yeah.
which is
a whole year, right,
$15.
right, so,
But it's not, I thought it was gonna be.
Sure.
yeah, no, that's a pretty good estimate.
Hold out there, there's 18 units. I'm not one of the oldest now, or the longest. I
Yeah,
should say, not the
longest.
oldest, too, and the longest.
It works that way.
Yeah, no, that's nice, but again, you wanna, that's nice that you wanna remain in the city, however,
Well, I fight for the city.
yeah,
I
and
really
that,
do, I fight for my neighbors, I don't want all of these people to be moving out.
Right.
They did, they ended allowing them. Support the school system, the commissions of education, so.
sure.
And Masterful here, what's your name down there?
Bevins. Bevins.
He's gonna get he's getting his name tagged maybe this week.
Oh, good. Well, nice meeting you all. Baby. Oh, baby, yeah, sure. John? How are you?
I'm Ann Gallagher. Hello.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much for coming in.
I appreciate your efforts in trying to keep the city going, and quality of life is a major concern for me in the city.
For everybody,
I know, well,
so.
that's another topic for another day. Thank you very much for this
Thanks.
hearing, I appreciate it. Michelle's a nice lady too, give her a pay raise.
Yeah.
okay?
She's only been here 2 months. Like, we're gonna, yeah, and she's still coming
I
in.
was gonna decrease her pay, and you wanna raise her.
You only want to decrease my pay because I give you a hard time about getting here on time.
That's right.
I appreciate the time. I was
Okay.
really concerned about what was.
Yeah, not a problem.
All nice people.
So he's got 2 properties.
Okay,
He would like to talk about 781 first.
beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did she say you're very Irish?
Yep.
She picked that up quick.
Yeah, have a seat.
No, maybe I need a name tag.
Yeah,
Okay.
For you.
For me.
with your title on it.
Yes. Hear that, Ann?
We're gonna take it from Ann.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
gonna take it from Ann.
Ann gets a 20% decrease.
Thank you again, folks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you need, is that empty? Do you need more?
I'll, are you gonna
text?
text her?
I'll text
Or do you want me? Okay. No problem.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hi, thank you.
You have 2 properties, and I believe you want to talk about 781 O Street
Yeah.
first? All right. Well, I'm going to swear you in, and then read a few things in, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you can turn that, please. Yep. So if you could raise your right hand.
Yeah.
State your name for the record.
James Medcraft.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. We've got 781 Ostrom Ave first. Just got to read a few things into the record. This is number 5 for our purposes. Okay, we've got a current tentative assessment of $250,000, which would be an equatable market value of $387,597. The petitioner believes the fair market value is $250,000.
Yeah.
Which would be an equatable assessed value of $161,250. $161,250 assessed value. Okay, so with that, we have a single-family dwelling. We've got some tax returns that look like they're completely redacted.
No.
No?
Let me see, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see some numbers, and I see some numbers.
Yeah, for 781, the rest.
Okay. And we've got a purchase, it looks like $47,781
Yeah, it was-
about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, we'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, all right, this is, I think, an increase of 40% or more, which I think is crazy. The 781 is identical to the house, 3 houses to the north, 767, and 767 is assessed at 200,000. All right. Also, the house next door at 787, which is bigger, has more kitchens, more bedrooms, more everything, is assessed at 200,000. So I think this is my house at 781. The tentative assessment is grossly over-assessed.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions, and yeah, certainly you can go on. And this was increased this year?
Yes.
Okay. Do you live in this house?
No.
All right, so is this a rental?
Yeah, it is. And I don't have, I didn't get you the figures for 2022. I can tell you what they were. it was first rented August 15th of 2022 for $3,000 a month, all right? And there's no lease, but that rental agreement is going to be ending May of this year, all right?
That's for the whole house, 3,000?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's, well, whatever. Oh, so you got my expenses and the lack of income for the previous 3 years. I thought I had to give 3 years, but
Yes, I had.
the expenses, and I've got them on an Excel spreadsheet, and so I just went through them last night, and 781, the insurance for 2022 was 3476. The taxes were 7232. The repairs were 14,985. So the all expenses was 30,273 for this house for 2022. I had a stroke 3 years ago, so I have aphasia, so I don't find the words. So,
That's no problem.
Yeah.
Let me just
Yeah.
ask if I could.
Yeah.
Last time this was assessed,
Well, we reassessed it, a lot of the properties up there. One of the reasons this one had a larger increase is because we had the inventory wrong. So we had 6 bedrooms and there's actually 7. I have if you want to say, an advertisement for this says the rent is $4,800 at $700 a
What's the
bedroom.
address?
So this what I got offline. That's how we came across the discrepancy in the inventory.
Right, your name
So
right
this
there.
increase
You were
was
here the other day, right?
a larger than some of those,
Sorry, ma'am.
some of the other ones up there.
All right, there's 5 kids, not 7 kids.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yes. Yeah, there was
But potentially, I
somebody
guess,
here
could be
the other day
7.
that was here with his spouse that also was gonna be here today,
right.
so I was thinking it was that.
Potentially, I could,
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm
Have
just
them
telling you what it
rent-
says on, I didn't make up the numbers.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just how it was
As soon
averaged.
as the showing,
Okay.
he's doing 2 properties, so he's just a little bit there.
what's the square footage?
Square footage is,
It's up to you. It's live
2,000.
stream, so it's not really privacy anyways.
2160.
2160, okay.
So I'll just, there was a copy of.
Okay.
So potentially
Yeah.
doing I took the income limit, and I also have a lot of, here's also, for this one and the one next door at 777, there's sales of rooming houses, up there. So that's where I came in with the, I don't know why it wasn't rented as, the other couple years. But
Well-
potentially, there's the potential of the income.
well, I got a little lazy in the maybe 2017, 2016, because I had it rented for, with the same group for like 9 years or so. And then, they stopped my handyman that did everything for me, he died in 2017, 2018. And then I had the stroke in 2019. So, and I did a lot of criminal law, but I thought that, you know, I can't do that because of the stroke. So I wanted to get these houses, you know, I want to do something productive. And I hired a guy in 2020, I guess, January. I gave him $10,000 for repairs, and he ripped me off. He didn't do anything. And then the pandemic hit, and I didn't have, I don't know, I testified in 2021 before the grand jury. I don't know what his case is, but I lost $10,000 on there and time. So then I found somebody, and so I got it rented as of August. That's the,
Okay.
yeah, all right.
Yeah. I thought I recognized the name. I thought you were an attorney.
Okay, yeah. Are you, say, from James Street?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, Nick Saturno. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes, yes.
I've talked to you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
We're
Okay.
halfway through.
Yep, yep. So, I think we've got enough
Okay,
information on
I'm
this one
done.
here.
All right.
And the city has submitted some stuff here. And, so why don't we go on to
Okay,
777?
77,
And I'm just gonna read some information.
yeah, okay.
Here. So this is 777 Ostrom. And this one here, we have a single-family dwelling, current tentative assessment of $220,000, with a land value of $16,800. And that would equate to a market value of $341,085. And Mr. Metcalf believes that the property is worth $250,000, which would be an assessed value of $161,250.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this kind of the same situation?
Well, yeah, and I want to say, and it pertains to both houses, that I think you can take notice that all real estate values went up in 2022, but I read in the paper that they has only assessed some properties. So the difference between the new assessment and the old, the value is more out of line for the properties that they reassessed this year than the other properties because of everything going up. I don't know if that makes sense, but all right. So this one, it's smaller than the two comps that I mentioned, and and those comps are assessed at 200,000, and so I think this one shouldn't. It's overassessed at the tentative assessment of 220,000. Also, I mean, can I ask you, the level of assessment, it went from 79 to, or 69 to 64.5.
That's from New York State.
Oh, okay.
They send us and they tell us what our level is.
Oh, okay, so that's citywide,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
Yes, exactly.
I used to be better at this.
No, you're doing
You
good.
know,
Fine.
yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Let me just ask,
Yep.
Ann, was this reassessed also?
Yeah, everything along there, yes.
Along that street there?
Yeah.
And what was, you're renting this house out also?
Yes, and again, it was just hurried up, rented it in August of 2022 for 5 kids, 600, 3,000.
Okay.
And that's going to cease as of May of this year. May 14th this year.
Okay.
And it's not rented.
Yeah, and just, again, the ad that I saw said 800 a bedroom. So,
Yeah,
yeah, all right, I just gave you that. Yeah, but,
yeah.
I mean, I guess I got it last minute. You try to get some bodies in there.
Yeah, and it's not
Most of them
rented,
is
not rented.
block away from the campus, so it's probably the best street you could be on besides Comstock.
I think.
Yeah, no, and you bought these a long time ago, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And if SU ever does anything with the property across the street,
Well,
They say-
but what is, yeah, okay. I mean, the Shaw parking lot and Shaw dorms across the street, but you mean a
All
little
those
further
vacant
in the
lots,
block?
yeah.
I know, well, you know, I was in the hospital with my stroke when they tore those houses down.
really?
And it was, I said, what happened to
Six
the?
of them, like 6 houses.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
The whole block. Just-
And everything was graded and
You thought a bomb hit or
yeah,
something.
it's like,
In the hospital, everything was fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Now half the street's gone.
exactly. And, well, I have a house at 832, and across the alley, the university, I guess, bought it, and they tore that down,
that
and
down,
it was like, in 3 days, it was gone, it's like amazing.
Do you have family here in the city?
Hi.
Well, yeah, well, I mean,
Church of All Nations.
in Onondaga County, not in the city, just me. But, yeah. Well, no, my niece is renting a house that I have in Eastwood, actually.
Okay. Where do you live?
832, but I'm staying at my girlfriend's house, which is in the town of Onondaga, 4488 Wilderness Way, because, you know,
All right.
I have deficits.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just wanted to make sure you were, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm tough. Okay.
Okay, good. Well, we'll take everything into
Yeah, okay.
consideration that you said,
Yeah,
and also what
Thanks.
Ann has submitted, and then the city will send you a couple of notices second week. of
okay, all right,
First week.
thank you for your attention.
May. Yeah, no,
Okay,
thank you for coming in. Thanks. You will.
Yeah.
Wendy, 411 Stratford.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm going,
Can I ask, one thing? I told the expenses for 777 too, and they're like 21,000 or something, so it's.
okay, the other one was 30, these are about 21.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so, just gonna swear you in, I'm gonna read some information in, and then I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll go to the city. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Wendy M.H. Vander Bogart.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, so, let me just read this in. I have 411 Stratford Street.
Right.
And I just want to compare some numbers. Ann, do you have the land value by chance?
No, the other ones I did, but this one I
This
don't
one
either.
you don't, okay, no problem.
That I couldn't find it either, so I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Quite all right. I don't know if I read off the land value for 781 Ostrom, it's 16,100. Land value for 777 Ostrom, 16,800. I do that because I know that food belongs to the land value. And I do too, for that matter. Okay, so this one here, 411 Stratford, number 7 on our list, for today. We have a, okay, so let's see here. Now, I have a current tentative assessment of 286 as far as the city's concerned. I had 186 on the petition. So I just want to see which one it is.
I just texted Kate. So I raised it to two, I raised it.
To
right?
286 from 186.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the notice. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So it is in fact 286. And we'll check the land value. That is an equatable assessed value, I'm sorry, market value of 443,411. And petitioner believes the fair market value is $230,000, which would be an equatable assessed value of 148,350. And let me just glance over the application. Do we have a purchase price on this?
Yes,
property?
I redid it, so you got more info, but yeah, and a little more legible. The original purchase price was 62.5.
62.5, and that was
1980.
March 12, 1980.
Yeah.
62.5. Okay, based on that, let me turn it over to you.
Okey doke. I gotta say, I was a little surprised when the $100,000
I'm
showed
actually
up.
looking at it myself thinking,
Yeah, it seemed like,
I
seemed like a lot.
Yeah.
When I bought the house in 1980, we actually lived in one half, and it came with a tenant, so that was nice. And then we moved out in 91, further down Euclid, closer to Nottingham, where we are now. But since we moved out, it's been rented since that time, and the current rents on it, the part we were in, which is the 1, 2, 3 bedroom side, it could be, because my kids were in cribs then, is $1,200 a month. And and it's been that for years. She's one of the librarians up at SU. And so she's been a fabulous tenant. And so I have not raised her in probably since 2013 because she's clean and fabulous and reliable. And then the other side, which is the 2-bedroom side, which is actually the 411 side. This has 2 addresses because it's on the corner. So the 875 Sumner is the address of that property, and then the 411, which is how y'all recognize it as the two-bedroom. Anyway, that I try when possible to rent to professionals or grad students. I've had the occasional undergrad with a strict stipulation that it be quiet because my other tenant likes it quiet. So I'm pretty strict about that. And that, right now, they pay $1,100 total. I don't do the whole by bedroom thing.
That's a good thing.
Well, it's just silly. So they pay me in one fell swoop every month, but it's 11 total for that and then 1,200 for the other. And that's kind of how we've been going for a while. And the one major upgrade besides, roof repairs and this and that is on that 211 side. I redid the kitchen because that was from like 1940. It was time to be done. So that was a pretty major upgrade that happened in 2017, I believe. And I've got all that. So, besides, doing the sidewalk because we were required to do the new sidewalk and all, I just thought 100,000 was a little steep for the assessment. So I have comps, and I did notice up the street on Sumner that's 2 houses sold for over, that are multifamily like this. 2 houses did sell for over 300. I might be shooting myself in the foot, but I can't believe anyone would pay that. That sounds a little steep. But then I found other comps of similar bedroom, multifamily, not like a single house, that were more in the 200 range. Not on Sumner, but Miles and Livingston in there. So I guess I'm just coming to see if you can do any adjustment on that.
Yeah, and so when was, this must.
This was again, the whole neighborhood was reassessed. I might have been a little high. I'm gonna say that on record. I'm gonna make it at least a reduction down to 250 assessment. Next door to you sold for 430, right next door.
Which, because we're on the
At
corner.
867.
Sumner? That was Tom's? It's a yellow house. Yellow.
That I don't have,
But
but
it's the
yeah,
Sumner
it's
Avenue?
literally next door sold for 430.
No.
Again, it has more bedrooms, so my comps that I think I looked at, they all have more bedrooms,
Oh,
but they're still all going, I don't have a comp for less than 300.
Those
So-
are huge prices,
And that's again,
which is a good thing.
a good and a bad thing, I suppose.
In the interim, not so
I
good.
could sell my own house for that.
so, her rent, it's nice to know that 1,200 is still a decent amount of rent for the one and 11 for the other one. But most people now are doing the bedroom. No. So,
Right, so you're recommending $250,000?
at least, yes,
No, assessment.
assessment. So,
Assessment.
obviously you guys, again, those comps, the bedroom counts are higher. So,
2-minute warning.
it's a big house though. It's over 3,000 square feet.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah.
again,
It's one of the originals on the block,
yeah.
1900 something. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I love it.
At least, yeah, even, I shocked myself.
Yeah,
I normally don't admit that.
all right, well, the city's recommending $250,000 assessed value down from 286. We will take everything that you have said also, and then we will come up with our decision, and so we could go lower than the 250, we could stop at the 250, or even go higher. I don't necessarily see that happening, but anyway, we will take everything into consideration, then the city will send you a notice first week of April.
Oh, very good. Do you need any of this
Yeah,
extra
anything that
stuff?
you have, we'd love to put it in the file.
Okay.
And anything that you don't need back. would
Oh,
be-
these are copies, so feel free
All right, excellent.
to do that. Just so you have it handy, these are the county and the city. I don't know, do you need the county? We'll put them all together.
Yeah,
For the
actually,
last-
that'll have the land value on it,
The
probably.
last, I couldn't
think
find
it's-
it on there.
Kate said it
Should
was
get back to you.
11,600, so 11,600.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. And,
You'll notice Mike and I aren't writing that down.
are not writing it down?
No.
Yeah.
Not big enough.
We got our ace in the hole, Sue, so. Yeah,
That was the rents, that's for my taxes.
okay, excellent.
These
I
are-
appreciate you.
Sure. These are copies of the lease agreement. That's for 411. This is for 875. It's an old one. We're
That's
kind
okay.
of on a verbal, but it hasn't changed.
Yeah. well,
She's so good. And these are costs. Make sure I put everything in there. Oh, no. Do you want the floor plan? Yeah. Why not? What happened in the kitchen? That's my old survey from when we bought it.
Again, as long as they're copies
Oh, I
that
can
you
put a
don't
little,
need back.
oh, no, not at all. I'm gonna make a little note. Like, that's Stratford. That's right where
Oh, the divider.
that's the divider.
Sure.
Yeah. Once upon a time, I think it was one house.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, because you can sort of see it in the wall. I think they turned it into a mother-in-law apartment in the 40s. This stuff? These are comps?
Take
Okay.
it. Well, it's,
All right,
you know, your
whatever.
file is,
It's getting too big.
Thank you for bringing what was
Well
asked.
documented.
Yeah, well,
that's greatly.
I'm one of those nerdy folks. I do that.
No, it's definitely helpful, will give us more to,
Take a peek.
I'm gonna bring it home and next time we have a fire. No. Just kidding.
No, it's all good, all good.
But, no, appreciate all that stuff, because a lot of times, people, don't submit, and so that is appreciative that you brought what was requested. And, so you're all
set,
set, and,
yeah.
okay.
Great.
And then,
Thanks, all.
again, you'll get a notice first week of April.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yes,
Check out to the
thank you very much.
tundra.
Yeah, stay, actually, it's supposed to be in the 50s today. I think.
Yeah, well,
Or rain.
Yeah.
Well,
This would be
yes.
like a foot of snow.
Right.
Right.
Thanks again.
Okay,
Okay.
take care.
These are all, this is exemptions.
Yes, Churchill of All Nations, there's 7 properties here,
Okay.
and they're blocked off for a 30-minute time slot.
Okay.
You probably won't need that, but.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If you want to come on up and just. Are these properties all together or various parts of the city?
6 of them are together in Furman Street. The parsonage is in Ridgeway Avenue near Limon College.
Gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead and have a seat.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you, Ann?
Good.
So,
So this was an exemption issue where the description wasn't clear on their application, so I just want to go over what each property is being used for. So
okay.
it shouldn't, like I said, it shouldn't take a half hour, but.
But that
just-
answers my question, that we should probably read them
Yeah,
in
read them,
individually
yes, yep,
and discuss.
yes.
Okay. So,
Can I share this while I go over this?
yes. I'm gonna swear you in, but whatever you want to give us would be great.
Thanks.
record's purposes, we'll treat this as number 8. All of these together. Okay. So 6 on Furman, 1 on Ridgeway. And why don't you want to start off with Ridgeway?
Why don't we do the other way, if it's okay?
Do the ones on Furman first and then Ridgeway last?
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
So good morning again. I'm Alex Tavaranjan. I'm the pastor of Church of All Nations, which owns these properties.
And I'm going to swear you in first and then just
Okay.
read the first one on Furman in. Actually, so let me raise your right hands, please. State your name for the record.
Alex Tavaranjan.
James Bianca.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so why don't you introduce yourselves, then I'll read in the first property and we'll go from there as far as,
Okay.
yes, your title.
So I'm Alex Tavaranjan, pastor of Church of All Nations, which owns these 7 properties. And I'm also, have been a professor at Syracuse University for 30 years. So I've been here for a long time.
30 years?
30 years. Yeah. And so we purchased these properties in 2016. So the ministry is called Cornerstone Life Development, and he is the director of the ministry. We believed in what he's doing, so we stepped in to purchase the properties, and I'll just go over. I don't know whether you can see them. So there are 3 ministry houses. So we minister, he ministers to homeless, drug addicts, ex-convicts, you know. So off the street, they come to the Armory House, kind of get armed. We do residency, counsel, and employment. So they'll stay in the Armory House, get counsel, various problems, their addictions, life issues, and then they move into the Exodus House. This is also in Furman Street. And when they have done well and they have been compliant and there is signs of recovery, then finally, when they are gainfully, we also get them employment, and Pastor Pietro does a good job in that, and he networks with the people. Then they move into the Shiloh House. If they have families, they move in with their families, and then finally they move on to their independent living. And this is a playground. Thank God they're all adjacent properties. So this is a playground for the 3 houses. Then we have this church building, which also we purchased from Seventh-day Adventist Church. So we hold Sunday and Wednesday services here. And this is the parking lot for the church. So that work goes on there. And currently 15 men are staying. Yeah. And then this is his parsonage. This is in Ridgeway Avenue, the Lemoyne College area. For he and his family lives there. So I think we failed to maybe explain adequately in the document that, you know, there was only a 1 line. So we thought maybe we just said we are a church doing the same thing as before. So he's been doing this for 18 years now. Yeah. So.
And these, thank you for that. These have been exempt?
Yeah.
You guys sent out notices to everybody, I think,
To
this
all
year?
800, yes. All
Okay.
800 nonprofits.
Right.
So this will be the first batch. I think next week we have a whole day, and then I think there's an additional day for non-for-profits. So
And so is there 800 total in the
there's
city?
800 non-for-profits, yes, that
800
everybody
total
got.
non-for-profits
Right.
in the city?
Right, that I reviewed every one. So every year is considered a separate year, and what was written on the form was basically same as last time, and that just wasn't good enough. So
Oh, I see.
So
That
they
was
came in
actually
and
the
they
verbiage.
they came in and clarified, what every property is used for. So But my only question, I don't, do you want to read them all in?
Yeah,
Or do you
I-
want me to
Go
do my
ahead and ask your
questions?
question.
So the church is being used because there's no water there being used. I know it was off and it was unfit, and then the water went back on. But there hasn't been any water according to our water. So is it not being used? Are you still going next door, or how's that
For the
working?
bathroom, we come to the Armory House because it's the next door. So the church, we meet Sundays, noon time is the service, and Wednesdays, 7 o'clock. And if anybody has to go to the bathroom, they go to the Armory House.
So when the city declared it unfit, was it because the water was turned off and then you turned the water back on?
I think
As long as, I just want to be square that you're using the church, but there's no water being used, is that?
yeah.
Does codes know that though?
So, and when we first bought the building, the sanctuary, it was in ill repair. like
Right.
The main sanctuary.
Right.
So the city decided we could use the fellowship hall for the services, which is still a big space. It's
Right.
beautiful. It's got stained glass windows in it.
Okay,
So we go through the side door and we go right into the side sanctuary, which is the smaller sanctuary. So the reason it was unfit is because the wall had to be repaired. for the
Okay.
major sanctuary.
gotcha, okay.
So, we repaired the wall, but there's still a lot of work that we need to do in the other parts of the church. We're in the like first preliminary stages of doing services, so the services are very small. There's only like maybe 38 now, you know, but we still use the service on the church on Wednesday and on
On
Sunday.
Sundays? Okay.
It's a
Fellowship.
Gotcha,
So that's the reason why we don't have water in there.
okay.
And really, when the people come into the service, no one's going next door to use the bathroom anyway, you know what I mean? It's not like the service goes about an hour and a half. But we're in there painting and we're getting the building prepared for the next stage of actually having services in there. Then at that point, we're gonna have to want the piping done, because there's the crackheads in the neighborhood when we first bought the building went in and tore up the pipes and stuff.
Okay. All right, so that's the
Cut down
current
the copper,
situation.
so we actually ran new copper. There's a lot of work to do on the building, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, you can just read them,
Okay.
and it's fine.
Yeah, let me go ahead and read them in, and then if there's anything specific you want to say for some reason on a particular property, please do, and Ann as well. So, let's go with 146-48 Furman. We have current tentative assessment of 45,000. I guess I probably should match it up here, 146, 148. Current tentative assessment of 45,000. I'm not gonna get into market value then.
Yeah, because none of that
It's an
matters.
exemption
Yeah.
issue, so I will put that down. And this is the Armory House, I think the first one. So when you're taking on people, this is where you start?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, okay. And that's, so, why is it a progression? Why wouldn't they just stay at one location, or what's the?
Well, it's not like every guy that comes into the Armory House ends up going to the Exodus House, especially
Okay.
the next house.
Okay.
Some of them just stay there in the Armory House for the duration of the whole time, you know? But the guys that are doing like really well and they're working and, you know, you don't really have to worry about them using, we move them over to the Exodus House because they just
Less
need less
supervision.
supervision.
Exactly.
Like every guy that comes into the Armory House is gonna end up in the Exodus House and then in the Shiloh House. We've used the Shiloh House, it has 3 apartments in it over the years. We've used that also for families in transitional need. And those families sometimes are not even connected to the men in the Armory House and the Exodus House. Many times they are, but we just use the cone-shaped house with the 3 apartments. We use that for families in transitional need and also for the men that have done, right now, actually, there are 3 men that have gone through the program that are living in the apartments. So at this time and space, that's what we're using.
Sounds
But
like
they might move out, and then I come, and then I have a family in need in the neighborhood, and I'll help them, and they'll come to the church. You know, so it's,
And there's greater supervision and the meals are provided there. So when we bring someone, we don't know them that much. So Armory House is a safe place, much more supervision. The meals are provided there.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a well-run scenario. Yeah. Okay, so 132-44 Furman Street. This is the church building.
So,
Current tentative assessment, 200,000, and this is an exemption request as well. 139-43 Furman. This is the playground that we saw. Current tentative assessment of 4,400,
two more after.
and an exemption request as well. 129-31 Furman Street, this is the Exodus House.
Yeah.
Current tentative assessed value at 42,000, and an exemption request. 133-37 Furman Street, this is the Shiloh House, current tentative assessment of 40,000. And this is an exemption request as well.
And also, for tomorrow's,
145-47 Furman Street, this is the parking lot for the church, current tentative assessment at 4,100.
got moved
And,
to the 21st.
This is an exemption request
Yep.
as well.
This is all up here.
Lastly, this is the parsonage, 132 Ridgeway Avenue. Do we have an assessed value on that, or it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. This is an exemption request as well.
But yeah. So,
And this is your full-time
yes.
scenario, so it's a full exemption.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, because they,
Yes.
Okay, and anything else you want to add?
he works from home.
I don't have anything else to add. If you guys have any questions,
We're all set.
That's satisfied, okay.
Just want to thank all of you for your service.
No, thank you
That's
for,
what you guys do.
it's a great service, and the properties look good, and so, it's a nice thing, certainly.
It's very noble of you.
Yeah, not everybody can do what you do. I certainly can.
I cannot do that.
I'm sure the people very much appreciate it, and so do we.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And you'll get the notices in April that everything's all
Yes,
set.
first week of April, there'll be 7 separate notices that'll come out to
Okay.
the address on the application.
Hopefully you won't have to do it again, but it was 800 of them I was looking at, so. Bye.
Take care. When you say 800, is that 7 of the 800 or 1 of the 800?
That's 7 of the, yeah.
Gotcha, so it's
So-
by property.
So there were some that were denied, and then there were some that never applied. So there's
Yeah, there
gonna be a
were-
little bit of both in the next week or so.
Yeah, no, we're very familiar with that. Good morning, sir, how are you?
Tired. I was up way too late last night.
Oh, is that why
I don't
you
even
stayed
know
in
if,
your
hopefully,
office?
Yeah, I was trying to meet a deadline.
He's partying on a school night.
Yes.
Party? I'm in your 30s. What makes anyone think I can party anymore?
Oh, yeah, right, exactly.
My idea of partying is like turning on Netflix and falling asleep.
Yes, you,
what time are those last two?
11 and 11:10.
okay.
Obviously,
couple
if they
minutes.
show up before, then we'll get them.
How about 818-20?
Yeah, well, that was John Williams, and it was supposed to be 8:22, and I emailed him to see if he was coming, and he never answered me, so.
So
Okay.
basically
Oh
the
my gosh.
situation is the 818
Range Rover.
through 820, that
way.
one there was a stip on
Holy
there.
crap, how do you make
But
money
he
doing
also had
this?
another property, 822, that we
These are all
weren't
on the
sure
south side.
if he was
up
grieving on.
All right, now wait
So-
a minute, what was
Holy
818-20?
cow.
We stepped on that one.
Yeah, they ended
God
up coming up with
forbid he
an
played.
agreement on that one.
Okay, so that's a stip.
Can I show Joe?
818-20 Acumen is a
one's that?
stipulation.
The parsonage.
Oh, God.
Mr. Say, yeah.
Do we have an issue?
No, I just,
No, it's fine. He's doing good work, but
there's
it's
money
a
in God's work.
nice looking house, Range Rover.
Range Rover in the driveway.
And this is up by Lemoyne, but the other side is the south side.
Yes.
That's where he lives.
That's the parsonage.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
We're
has a Range Rover in the driveway.
what is he,
in the
Joe?
wrong line of
Oh,
work.
okay, good. I had a bet that he would bring more of those.
Oh, yeah?
I have 3 of them on my desk right now.
Oh,
So
geez.
every time he comes in, he brings one.
So let me just confirm then, 818-20 stipulation, so we're not gonna read that in or anything at this point. And then this is not on here, I don't think.
Yeah, we weren't sure if he was grieving on this
Okay.
one.
All right.
So I brought it up in case if he showed up, we would just put him at that 9 o'clock stop.
So I'll just put it here. If he shows, great. If he doesn't,
Yeah, I
we don't
don't-
read it in.
Yeah,
I give it back to you.
yes, correct.
Fair enough.
So the only 2 that we have right now were that 11 and 1110. The 1110 is one we had actually, was a no-show the other day, but when I went back downstairs, there was a note on my computer to call him. He had just received the letter for his time that same day. So he's located out in Bath.
Okay.
So,
That's a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
yes, so that's why I gave him, the 1110 rather than the 950.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So it's just potentially 2 left.
2 left.
All right.
And we're done for today. There is a block on tomorrow's that is now open because Verizon moved to the 21st.
Okay.
Because their attorney, he works from home. The information had gotten mailed to his office. The office then forwarded it to his home. He literally received it yesterday, so we moved them to the 21st. So there was like a 40-minute block that now got.
Okay. So
To the middle
tomorrow,
of the day, of course, right?
It's from 9:20 to 10. However, the first 2 tomorrow, and I don't know if I should be saying this to Joe.
might be late.
The first 2 tomorrow are listed as non-hearings. They let us know ahead of time that they did not plan on showing.
All right. So we
What
so
time?
we- Yeah, no.
That was the 9 o'clock and
and
9:10.
All right.
And then 9:20 through 10 is nobody right now. So right now, technically, we probably don't have anybody until 10.
Okay. So if that's the case, I mean, why don't we plan on showing up around 9:30? And then, we can read in the 2 non-hearings
Yeah.
and be ready for 10 o'clock.
Sounds good.
That's
Tomorrow,
good.
it's that guy that was here last year for the ponytail guy. What time is he?
The last 2.
Okay.
Oh, that's the
The tilted kilt guy.
guy. Okay. All right. How many total tomorrow then, roughly?
See, tomorrow's difficult because it's attorney day, so there's some of them that are like that last one where there might be 7 and 3 time slots. Let's see. Okay, so we got the 2 non-hearings, then this one's not there, so at 10 o'clock technically is a non-hearing too. And then, have a lot of non-hearings tomorrow. The people who actually are expected to be here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, I got your email.
Okay, good, yep.
Plug it in.
All right, sounds good, yeah.
You're here for the review board?
Yes, please.
I'm just gonna hit
In the right spot?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So
You gotta
in
say.
ones that are actually expected to be here, because we have a lot of
Thank you.
non-hearings tomorrow. Because these are all non-hearings too. So, hi, I'll send you in just 1 second. So then there's actually only 7 that are expected to.
Okay.
Okay.
So it looks pretty full, but,
Yes, but a lot of it's non-hearings, yeah, because Brett's attorney.
And then, so you think, target 9:30 is acceptable?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
the address? Perfect. All right, if you just want to print your name right there, and we will, as soon as he gets back from the bathroom, we will get you in. No, just one. Yep. How about you? Love you sign right there. They will be. I have to set that up. I don't have to interrupt you guys. Both of the last two are here now.
Okay.
They're both right there on the.
Voicemail.
Hello.
Jim Metcalf's in better shape than I thought he was. I knew. Yeah. Yeah.
I put both of the folders for the remaining 2 at your spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a little
problem.
bit of, but nothing. Right, right. Right, exactly.
you say, the next person has 2 properties?
No.
No.
Yeah, I just put both folders there,
There's
so.
2 people, there's 2 here, so.
So we got Westminster first?
Yes.
Okay. Who's Westminster? How are you? Good, and you? Good. All right, so. You're here for 135 Westminster.
Yep.
This will be number 9 on our list. Okay, let me swear you in, then I'll read some stuff into the record, and then I'll turn it over to you for some discussion.
Sure.
You've got your right hand. State your name for the record.
Jonathan Damiani?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for that. So we have 135 Westminster Ave. This is a multi-family rental. How many units?
2.
2 family. Current tentative assessment. So let's see here. I have 150 here, but we have 180,000 in. All right, current tentative assessment is 180,000. Do you have a land value?
No, I do not. I'm sorry, Sue.
No, that's no problem.
I'll let it slide.
No problem. We're up to 30% now. I wanted you to know that. Michelle, your comp is increasing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So that equates to a market value of $279,070, $279,070. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $130,000, which should be an equatable assessed value of $83,850. Okay, assessed value. It's been stated it's a 2-family. And it looks like in August 15th of 2020, it was purchased for $270,000. Okay, so I guess the first question is, we paid $270 a couple years ago or so, and then now we think it's worth $130. Correct? Okay. So why don't you just expand on that a little bit?
So yeah, really briefly, just to piggyback on what I shared with you a couple days ago when we were discussing the property down the hill on Maryland. My wife wanted to draw attention to the comparable properties within the community, Lancaster Ave, Buckingham Ave, Lancaster, similar 2-family houses, same cost, lower assessments. And then the other piece that she wanted to make sure that I shared with you today was that we put a lot of money into the house after we lived in it. So we lived in the house for just over a year, and then there was some water damage in the kitchen and in the bathroom, and so we had to kind of gut the pull up those floors and put in a lot of new stuff there. So we really didn't make any money off of it during that time span. I think the expenses here she has listed for approximately $32,000. We put in new air conditioners, new floors, all kinds of stuff. And so
I guess I don't, and forgive me, but I'm not understanding. You paid $270. Now you're telling me you put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, after we lived in it for just over a year, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So we paid $270. We put X number of dollars into it. How does the value decrease to $130,000?
I'm not sure why she believes the assessment value should be lower. I think it's because we
That's
weren't.
the market value. You guys think that it's worth $130,000. So would you sell it today for $130,000?
Of course not.
Okay. Well then, I guess my disconnect is then, what do you think the property's worth? Because on here, it's, if your wife filled it out, it says she thinks it's worth $130,000.
Okay. Well, again, I'm just representing her in this matter. She gave me the materials, said give it a shot. She felt like, you know, she's one of these people coming up, you know, she had to scrap to make every dollar, and when she found out how much our assessment value was in comparison to all the other people that have these two families in our neighborhood, she felt like, I don't know, I used the word gouged before, but she
Okay.
felt like she was getting it.
So why don't you give me some of those addresses as far as assessed value is concerned?
That's ours. 1129 Lancaster. That's the land value. You could probably find it faster than me. You've looked at these forms more than I
Yeah,
have.
I can,
Yeah,
I'll
but-
take the one that you have on yours too, if
Sure.
you,
Yeah, 1129 Lancaster, 314 Buckingham, which was, we looked at places on Buckingham before we got the one on Westminster, and then 1125 Lancaster,
okay.
just to
Yeah, I
juxtapose.
remember from the other day. So this is, this is yours.
Yeah, we moved back in April of 2020.
Yeah, so now, just refresh me. Was this, I know the other one was kind of a quick purchase. Was this a quick purchase when you
this was-
initially got here?
Yeah, I had taken a job at Lemoyne College starting in May of 2020. We moved back in April. We couldn't find a place to live. I mean, nobody was renting. Everything was, we were kind of clamped down. We found a space in a friend of a friend's house that was pretty rough. This was the first thing that we were shown, and we were just like, we'll take it. Anything that can belong to us that we can make clean and safe for the kids. And so that was the logic behind this place. And then, as I expressed before, the Maryland Ave was also in response to kind of an uncomfortable living condition, having two little kids living above a couple. I mean, none of that's the city's problem, right? But
No, that's okay.
just explaining the situation.
Yep, no, that's, and so now both of these flats are currently rented?
Yeah.
And what do you get for rents there?
Upstairs, we're getting 1,500. That information and is provided here, in case you'd like to take a look at that. And then downstairs, I believe, is at 1,350 right now.
All right, so $2,850,
Yeah.
separate utilities?
Yeah.
They pay their own then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we installed air conditioners for them, well, for the entire house, but at their request, we installed air conditioners for them over the summer. And my wife put a ton of money into that second floor flat to make it nice for the new tenants. So, not that it isn't a lovely house, just trying to make it as nice as it can be.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we've got some information there. Ann, any thoughts?
Sale price is, plus they put money into it, so I've got comparables, I don't know what these other assessments are on Lancaster and Buckingham, the two on, I can review them, but that, again, I reviewed the neighborhood, and sale price of the subject is pretty good indication of value, so.
Yeah.
I mean, decent rents now, so $2,850 a month is a good amount. And I would say that to pay $270, you had a mortgage though, right? So you probably, somebody gave it a mortgage. I mean, again, I understand that, there's a little bit of
2-minute warning.
desperation, but.
Yeah, understood. And it might be in these figures, but roughly total of cost of renovations is about what?
She had it at 32K, and the receipts are all here too, in case, I'm sorry, 32,000.
Okay.
Total.
Yeah, if that's submittable, we'll take
Sure,
that.
absolutely. Just evidence of the work.
Yep, that's excellent. No, very organized, definitely appreciate that. And we'll take a look at the comps that were submitted. And, yeah. That's right, okay, so that's the other comps. And, okay, yes. got some duplicate stuff, but that's good as far as our discussion purposes are concerned. Okay, anything else you want to add?
No, thanks for taking the time.
Yep, absolutely, and we will discuss in detail, and then the city will send a notice on this first week of April, along with the other one.
Okay, good luck with the rest of your meetings.
Thank you. Okay, you've 129 Roxborough?
Yes.
Great.
Good afternoon.
How are you? Good, how are you? Have a seat.
Thank you.
Okay. You were scheduled for the other day, I think?
It was. I got it so late, I wasn't able to make arrangements, so my apologies. I appreciate the opportunity to
Absolutely.
flex.
No problem. Okay, so, that. I made some notes from the other day. That I want to ask about. Okay. If you can raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Anthony Ligori?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, and hope. That applies to everybody, I'm assuming.
Well, we hope it does, yes.
Right.
So 129 Roxborough Road.
Foxborough.
Foxborough Road,
Yeah, you
I'm
go.
sorry. There is a Roxborough.
Sure.
And we have a tentative current assessment of $75,000.
I have the land.
Oh, we got the land. Oh, I do too.
Oh, man.
See that? That's 40%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, percentage is going up.
12,200?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. See that, Mr. Liguri, he took the time to fill it out. Okay, market value on that then would be 116,279. The petitioner believes the fair market value is $66,200, which would equate to an assessed value of $42,699. Okay, so we are correct on all of that. Now, oh, you're from Bath, New York.
Yes.
All right, so, get to you in 1 second. This, was an unfinished?
Yeah,
or
that's what Joe,
what's-
so Joe apparently, did Joe, the assessor, come out and look at it prior to the,
Not to my knowledge. You didn't get any calls from them? This
the
is my
assess-
son, this is my
okay.
son, he lives there.
Oh,
So-
okay, all
so-
right, very good, hi.
okay, so,
If he's gonna speak, why don't we come on up and have him, swear in?
If there's a
And
need,
just
if
in
there's a
case
need.
There may be.
Okay.
If you can, state your name for the record, raise your right hand, state your name for the record. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, and that'll be good because he does live there. We probably have a couple questions for him. So now, he's living there. How long has he been there?
Well, since just after we bought the property, what, 2.5 years ago?
2.5 years ago? Okay, so, and let me just throw this in there. On June 24th of 2020, the property was purchased for $48,112.
Correct.
Who'd you buy the property from?
Wilmington Savings Bank.
All right, so it was a foreclosure, and then there was, I'm trying to get set up here. And then was there a lot of renovation needed to be done?
There were some, and in fact, this is my third time here. So last time, February 24th, last time, I think it's in the record that I put about $13,000 into it to get the basics done.
Okay.
So to make it livable for him. I still don't think it's mortgageable at this time. because of the condition. And if you might recall, I brought a video, and we have that with us, which you can reference if you want to, a video of the inside. So there's much to be done. There's plaster and paint coming off the walls and ceilings and floors that are damaged. But
So at that time, did we put an unfinished on it? All right, so we put an unfinished on it at that time. That may have been prior to him moving in.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah.
All right, so now you did some things, 13,000, make it livable. Not the Taj Mahal, but
For
definitely
sure.
livable, so that takes care of the unfinished, pulling that off. And the, was this increased, or did
Yeah, so Joe increased it by 20,000.
Okay, from 55,000 to 75,000, and that prompted you to come in and chat a little bit more. Did Joe go in or no?
I don't think so.
The assessor go inside the property?
So after that,
he
did or did
no,
not?
you're thinking of an appraiser.
Okay, all right, so nobody from the city. So Joe,
we gave him a year.
yep, all right.
So was everything, you said you don't think it's still mortgageable?
I don't think so at this point. If I said it at the last meeting that it's just me doing the improvements. So, and with limited funds and time, I'm kind of going the best I can. I've come to a point. I'm kind of occupied on other projects, and we're in some, because of the finances, we're in kind of a little straight. So things aren't changed essentially from the last time I was here. So that I haven't gotten anything done
Okay, so-
on this place, frankly, within the past year.
And so what do you feel needs to be done?
It doesn't have a bathtub. It doesn't have a sink in the bathroom. All it has is a shower. That's the bathroom. The kitchen is quite old. It doesn't have a venting system. Insulation's needed under the dining room, because it's cantilevered out there. A lot of the windows are broken, sashes are broken, weights are broken. The walls, as I said before, the walls in the ceiling, the plaster's either broken or flaking or falling off, so the walls need to be repaired.
All right,
Most
so
all
you
of
think
the
it's possible that you couldn't get a home equity on it. Is anything owed on the property?
I am doing the work. I bought it, and I'm doing what I can off of home equity off of my property. So,
Gotcha.
in order to do that.
Yep, okay. Okay,
The only thing since Joe had a baby, everybody.
oh,
Girl,
congratulations.
yesterday.
Baby girl.
So, we can have Ed go out if the board wants, and I can have Ed take a look at it.
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
I agree. I appreciate that. And I've been trying to.
Can somebody meet him there? Can you? Okay. So you want to give me a phone number, and I'll have Ed Fole, who's our assessor, give you a call and go out and take a look at it.
570
Yep.
637 1584.
And you're also Anthony, correct?
No, Tiven.
Tiven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tivon.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, that's okay. His middle name's Anthony.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to have Ed Fole. Normally if you're living there, it's hard to give you an unfinished again, because normally we give you a year. But if it's in the condition that it seems to be or appears to be,
I don't.
because we take every year.
Yeah, I don't think it should be unfinished.
Right, but I'll have Ed.
The value's still the value.
It's rough.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, I think that's just my thought.
Yeah, get his eyes on it, and yeah.
No, I think that's a good thing, and then we know,
Right.
right?
Right.
The video's only so much, then he'll report back to us
Okay.
as to condition, and then we'll take that and see if we can put a figure on it. Because based on what you're saying, the city has the market value at about 116,000.
Yeah, I'm positive it wouldn't sell for that. Yeah.
Okay, no, I think that's the right way to do it. Are you working here?
Going to school.
Where?
Syracuse.
ESF.
ESF, very good, good for you. Yeah, that was a good move, and, you know,
He's
rather
looking-
than pay the exorbitant rent. Are you
Well-
living by yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, good,
And he's looking to teach, so he may stay in the area to teach.
absolutely. Good. Okay,
All right, I'll tell Ed to give you a call, okay?
yeah, and then we'll get the information, and then ultimately you'll receive a notice, first week of April.
Okay, I
But
appreciate
I
it.
think that we'll finally get this thing, the way it should be.
That'd be great. Thank you, thank you all, appreciate it.
Thanks for, driving up here.
Oh, certainly, my pleasure. Again, thanks for your
Sounds like you
flexibility.
do it, you know the route pretty well.
Yeah, I do. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so, before I adjourn,
Joe, I have a question though.
Yeah, yep.
The 8 properties, the church, or the 7, do you want to count that as one, or?
yeah, for our
7?
purposes, we'll count it as one.
Okay.
I've got it number 8 on our list.
Number 8, yeah, but it's 7 properties,
Yep.
but we'll just count it as number 8. Okay.
Yep, we'll count as number 8, for
So
what
we
you're
have 10
doing.
today, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So thank you. Have a safe trip back. 822 Ackerman, it's non-issue. We're
Yeah.
done. Okay.
Yeah,
You
I
want
mean,
me to
he-
just put it back in the box, Ann, and,
See, so he filed on like 6. He came in and talked to Matt, so he gave us a letter that he was withdrawing these other 3, but that one was kind of left in limbo.
Yeah.
So I emailed him and I said, are you still because the other one we skipped, I said, are you still coming on this one? And he never answered me. So I guess we can hold it.
That's what I think. And then ultimately, hopefully contact can be made.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's
then we
fine.
can read it in at that time.
Okay.
All right, yeah, that sounds good. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting for today.
So move.
Okay. Second. Okay, and so we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye as well. Any opposed? And any abstain? Okay, motion carries, meeting is adjourned.
All right.